Hi, and welcome to Cooking 100-Year-Old Recipes. This week, don't be afraid when I say this, but I'm making cream of lima bean soup. And if you think you don't like lima beans, just like I thought I did not like lima beans, this recipe is going to change your mind. Now let's get started. I'll show you how to make it. If your dislike for lima beans has come from those frozen beans of your youth, these are not those. This recipe uses those great big broad beans, bigger than a quarter. And after they've been soaked and cooked, they're wonderfully sweet. And they make a delicious, flavorful, delicate, creamy soup. So I'm going to soak my lima beans overnight. I gave them about 10 hours. And it's just a cup. And they've plumped up nicely. And then I will cook them in just plain water. However, just a habit of mine, I always have a bay leaf in any kind of bean that I make. And then some small dice of carrots and onion. 4 slices of carrots to be exact, and 2 slices of onion. And as my beans are simmering away, I'm just pulling off any skins that have released from the bean. While my beans cook, I'm going to work on a soup garnish. This is not in the book. This is just what I do with this type of soup. So I left the tag on, or I left it so that you can see the price. And for this piece, which I'm not even going to use very much of, it was $3.75, which to me is pretty reasonable. Just add some flavor, and then I'll be able to use this for other dishes as well. So let's see, I'm going to open it up, and also I'm going to make garlic chips, just out of maybe 3 cloves. Again, it's just for garnish and flavor. So making soup a little more interesting if you need it to be a little more interesting. I just think it's a fun little option. I'm going to dice up the ham and make it really crispy, probably in my iron skillet. And then I'll do the garlic chips afterwards. So I'm looking for a really fine dice, about like this thickness. And I'm just going to cut it into little tiny cubes. It's going to look pretty contrasted against the white of the soup. I think I can get a straight cut here on this. Beans are tender. They've been cooking about an hour and a half, and the next step is to rub it through a sieve, which I will do, but first I'm going to speed up the process by using the immersion blender to break it up, and that way it'll go through the metal mesh much more easily. I have a fairly smooth paste now. Almost looks like mashed potatoes. But I do still want to run it through the sieve to make sure that it's super silky. and there's no seasoning on it. But other than the bay leaf I cooked with, I can't help myself. I always put a bay leaf in my beans. Oh my goodness, they're so tasty. I've never had lima beans cooked from dried before. They're kind of sweet. In the same pot I did the beans, I'm going to finish the remainder of the recipe, which is now I will melt 2 tablespoons of the 4 tablespoons of butter in the recipe into the pan. And to that I'm going to add this small amount of carrot and onion that I cut up earlier into the little small cubes as directed. Make sure none of that remaining bean residue burns. They're not going to get colored. The recipe doesn't say specifically. I don't think these are supposed to be left in the final soup. This is just to season the butter. Once the butter has been flavored with the onion and carrot, I'm going to make a roux out of that butter and add white pepper because I don't want to discolor the light colored soup. You can use black, it'll taste just fine. It just, to me, doesn't look quite as pretty. And salt to taste. And I'm going to cook it just a minute or so and get rid of that flour taste before I add in some cream. Now the recipe says you can use cream or milk, and I'm using about half of each. I have some cream I needed to use up because it was on the verge of turning into something that isn't cream. And then the rest I'm going to use whole milk. And I add it in small amounts so that the soup does not get lumpy. If you add it all at once, it's really hard to get it to smooth out again. Right, and then I'm going to add in the last 2 tablespoons of butter to really enrich in it. And once that's incorporated well, I'm going to give it a taste. And it is just delicious. It is so sweet, silky, creamy, and rich. And it was at this point, I was just a little, I don't know, I was like, why has no one ever told me how good these beans are? Now I'm going to crisp up those ham cubes. And if you don't want to use ham, if you don't eat ham or pork, try some homemade, if you're so ambitious, some really buttery toasty, fresh breadcrumbs. That would be delicious to add some texture to the soup and then not compete with that delicate sweet flavor. And while I did make the garlic chips, and I use them here with the ham to garnish, the garlic is too strong for this soup. The ham is perfect with it, but the garlic is just too aggressive of a flavor for something like this. This is definitely in the top 3 of the cookbook recipes I've made so far. When I get to probably 50, maybe 75 of these videos, I will do a favorites, maybe my 5 favorites that I've remade several times. I guarantee I will be making this many times this winter. So let me know if you try it, and if you are a lima bean fan, let me know also in the comments how you prepare it, or prepare them. I would like to know. I'd like some more ideas of how to make these tasty beans now that they are on my radar. If you enjoy this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'd like to see you again. Thanks for watching.